I think now that we've completely derailed, as per usual, should we do some Dragon Age? I think we should. Here we are. Yes, age those dragons. We will. We'll start a new game too, partially because I have no idea where all of these save files came from. I don't know, man. I don't know who they are, who they be. Okay, so we're romancing Merrill, so we gotta make it gay, right? Because that's, why not? She's so cool. Look at her. Ooh. She looks so different in this game. They always look so gross in this game. I think it's like Dragon Age Origins. They were really gross designs, but you couldn't really see up close unless you were in tactical mode, so like they weren't as scary. But in Dragon Age 2, because of the difference in camera and movement, you can see them a lot more, and they're gross and creepy. I'll use the tactical mode. If you pause, you end up in not like super tactical mode, but you end up in a situation where you can kind of like direct the combat. It's decent. So these are three options. I'm gonna go over like why people don't like Dragon Age 2, and I'm going to argue why you should like Dragon Age 2. Because one of the reasons why people didn't like Dragon Age 2 from Dragon Age Origins is because Dragon Age Origins had like 20 different dialogue choices depending on your response. Like you could say up to 4 to 6 things to every line of dialogue that was given to you, which was really cool. But it's hard to voice all of those, so they gave us a voice protagonist, but in exchange they gave us like a Mass Effect type dialogue wheel, which is a little bit unwieldy in a Dragon Age game, especially when it like gives you a summary and then the summary doesn't really fit the dialogue lines. So it is a little bit of a weird kind of choice to make, but I like it because you can kind of tell more the mood of what you're gonna say. What they're actually gonna go is like, is this a more good, just kind of generic good guy answer? Is this a little bit of a sarcastic answer? Or is this just like a deathly serious, almost rude answer? So like that's the choices that Dragon Age 2 gives you most of the time. And I think that's interesting. It makes Hawke more of a character than I think just 4 to 6 lines of dialogue would. People can argue with me about that, but I actually kind of like it. And then this option here, depending on the allies that you bring, sometimes they can do special things, and that's what this is teaching you, which is kind of nice. And in several quests, literally you can't finish it in like the best way possible unless you have specific. It makes you think more about who you bring on a team. It is a little bit harder to know first time playthrough like who to bring, but it's great for like future playthroughs because you can kind of mix and match more. The main kind of like conflict in this game is mage versus Templar, which mage obviously are like wizards and stuff. But in the context of this universe, a very controversial thing. Characters are very clearly on the side of mage rights. There are characters that are more leaning towards like mage control because mages have such like immense power in this universe and they can be corrupted fairly easily because of that power. Mage rights all the way, 100% mage rights. Also trans rights, absolutely. So like if you bring a character, there's a couple of characters who will constantly, if you bring them into quests that deal with mages and you want to save the mage, like you're gonna have to deal with that person not really liking it. And it's interesting in this game because they bring up a different kind of approval system. I'll go into it later, but it's not just I hate you or I like you, which is awesome. I wish they did this in more Dragon Age games because the approval system in Dragon Age 2 is really interesting, and I wish they did it for like more of them, but they did not. Like Dragon Age 2 brings up a lot of interesting design choices that I think because Dragon Age 2 was received so poorly, they thought nobody was into. They were wrong. I'm into it incredibly. Very tight schedule to make an entirely different game around. So they did do some shortcuts, and a lot of people like to. The Ogre gets me every time. Okay. This is the dragon that we aged. This is the one.
Bullshit. That's not what really happened.
Wait, what was the joke? Just that it was Cassandra and Varric? Well, Cassandra does not look like her Inquisition model. Cassandra looks entirely different in this game. Varric looks pretty much the same. I'm fully convinced that they just copy and pasted the Varric model from Dragon Age 2 for Inquisition. She's missing a lot of stuff. She must have gone through a lot of concept changes because the choices that they made for her in Dragon Age 2 versus like her model in Dragon Age Inquisition, like what the fuck? Those are two completely different characters. It feels like Varric's basically stalling is the whole thing. And what's really interesting about this game, and it kind of provides an excuse for some of the things that are not so great about Dragon Age 2, because the premise of the story of Dragon Age 2 is that he's basically telling Cassandra a tale. A lot of things that are like not quite as polished in Dragon Age 2 could be in the story, just like Varric didn't describe it well enough, and you know, they don't go to anywhere else but Kirkwall. It's a hub system of Kirkwall, so in the context of the story, it could just be like Varric didn't fucking want to describe any of the other places because Kirkwall is what's important. Kirkwall's what mattered. Varric fucking loves Kirkwall. Varric has a fucking I love Kirkwall t-shirt on the entire game. Fucking #1 Kirkwall stan over here. That one just looks like had a rough day. Struggling a little bit. Getting a little makeover in the fade. Hello. Okay, so these are 3 default histories you can pick. Hero Ferelden is the default one. A young man from a noble family rose to become a Grey Warden, then ended the 5th Blight by killing the Archdemon himself and surviving. So that means that he took Morgan's deal. Or not deal. He took Morgan's like option. So the old god baby is in play. Everybody, the old god baby is in play. Oh, so this is something that happens when you make a custom character. When you make a custom character, all of the Hawk people change, which is so cool. Bethany and Carver aren't their default. All of them. Carver gets a fucking weird ass hairstyle, apparently. It's really cool. To make you guys look like a cohesive unit, to look like you're related, which, like, I don't know, I feel like that's an attention to detail that I don't think a lot of other games would have done, especially for like a family that like the whole main crux of Dragon Age 2 is the Hawk family. So it's nice that they put that amount of detail in it. It would have been a little bit weird if they had just kind of left it with you being like this random ass. It would have been like, are we sure that he's related? Like, he's blonde and the rest of us are like, we've got black hair. What the fuck? Mom? Adopted. Truly. Oh, this is one of my favorite characters coming up. I love this bitch. Oh, punch me. She's so cool. Okay. Oh, so this introduces the rivalry system. Okay, I will level everybody up, but the approval system in this game is really, really interesting. You have friend and you have rival. There are only a couple of ways that you can get a character to truly leave your party, unless it has been ordained by the story itself. There are a couple characters that will leave, no matter what you do, they'll just go and leave, depending on the choices that you make. However, there is, like, you can have like a rivalry relationship with somebody, but have them still be on your party. So it's not just like a, I hate you, you're bad, I'm leaving. It's more of just like, I don't agree with what you stand for, but I can agree to disagree. It's like a really interesting dynamic. And Carver, I always end up doing rivalry with because, man, Carver fucking sucks sometimes. And you can also do romances while still being in the rivalry. It adds some spice. Sometimes it's not great. Merrill, I believe one of them where a rivalry romance isn't that great. I've heard kind of like mixed things about that, but you can still, like, just having a differences of opinions doesn't necessarily take romance off the table in this game, which is cool. It's interesting. It's a lot better than just the Dragon Age Origins approval rating, where it was just like, we give them a bunch of gifts, we say what they like to hear, and then you get the romance. It's a little bit more nuanced, and I like it. I like it a lot. There we go. We took them out nicely. Oh, guys. We're leaving Dog undefended. What the fuck? Dog's just out here fucking bodying a couple of Herlocks by himself. Yeah.
Carver!
Yeah, see, that's why I didn't really invest a lot in Carver. Fuck that guy. So this character is Morgan's mother, Flemeth, which is buckwild because in the timeline, you meet her in Dragon Age Origins and she's just like this like little old lady. And then I guess she just has a massive fucking glow up as soon as Morgan leaves to like join your party and like go on the little like archdemon quest, gets this whole getup, does her hair and the little horns, and then goes and rescues Hawk. Like this is like maybe like in a week's time, she has a major fucking glow up, and I love that about her. I'm not gonna like I always let Aveline choose. There is like a decision or like an argument that could be made of just like you're being like don't make like a grieving like wife make the decision, but like also like I'm a stranger to these people. Like I met them like 5 minutes ago. I'm not gonna be like, you should definitely axe your husband. Let's kill him and get on the road. Like I'm not gonna be a dick.
What else aren't
I
you
do
telling
love
me then?
Cassandra's like smoky
Did you
eyes she's
send
got going on
someone
in this
with the
game.
champion?
Like work it, queen. Like what an imagery. Like could you imagine like being on a journey and just seeing like crying slave statues as you're rolling up to this city? Like what the fuck? My first thought would be like, ooh, we made a wrong decision here. We went to the wrong town. Fuck.
So Knight Commander Meredith wants us to sort you all out. Most of you are getting right back on your ships, though.
Okay, I'll let the game explain it, but I will add more to who Knight Commander Meredith is if the game doesn't explain it properly.
That's a Templar title. Why would a city guardsman answer to the Templars?
We don't answer to her, but she's the power in Kirkwall. Don't know what would happen if the Viscount went against something she wanted, but he's sure never taken that chance.
Okay, so they didn't really explain it properly. The power structure in Kirkwall is the Viscount is the ruler of the city. He is your mayor, so to speak. Then we have the leader of the church, Grand Cleric, I believe is her name. And we have the Knight Commander Meredith, who is the leader of the Templars. She does not run both the church and the Templars, she just runs the Templars. However, the Templars are the kind of arm of the church and are like the militant side of the church. And then we have the leader of the mages, who hasn't been discussed yet. He is the circle Grand Enchanter. And then there's some other people that will come in later. And then we have the city guard, who is under the Viscount and is just like typical. This would be, if it wasn't a fantasy, it would be like a police force. That's who the city guard are. They're just, you know, average Joe, a cab. You get the deal. So that's the power structure. We'll get into it more in the game later, but that's like kind of what you need to know, because they'll start throwing titles pretty soon. And if you haven't played a Dungeon Age, if you haven't played a Dragon Age game before, some of the titles might be a little bit confusing because we've interacted with people like this in the previous game, but just we haven't interacted with these people in the game yet.
There must be someone in charge I can speak with.
Let me talk to your manager.
Yes.
Okay, we are getting into Kirkwall. Hello, editing Fluffy here. So this episode, it kind of ends at a weird point. I know it's a little strange, but it's because the stream that I took it from is going to have to get cut into 2 parts. So next part, we will meet Merrill. We will begin our Merrill romance journey. But this part, I just wanted to kind of establish our little hawk and kind of get this series going. So if you want to see part 2, make sure to be subscribed and click that little bell icon. That way you get a notification as soon as I post it. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit the little like icon. And if you wanted to see the full unedited version of this, I do stream it on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Fluffyfrost with a 0 for the O. The link will be in the bio, as well as all my other socials. Thanks so much for supporting. I like and I love and appreciate all of you. Don't forget to be your best goblin self. I will see you in the next part. Bye!